So, I wanted to take a few minutes to show you the home theater PC that I built. Obviously it's a little bit larger than what most people would look like for a home theater PC, but I had some very specific gaming, I guess, objectives in mind. So, to start off with the case, this is a Silverstone case, the LC17B. I chose it specifically because I wanted one that was just large enough to fit all of the higher end components that I wanted in it. It's nice, it's got actually 4 USB ports right up at the front, so it allows you to do, if you want to use it for emulation, which is what I use it for, then you can use for wired controllers there if you want. And it's just large enough that it does fit everything that you need, including it's got two disk drives here in case you wanted to have 2. Now, inside the device itself, pull this off, this is where it kind of gets really interesting. Now, what people look like, or I guess when you first look at this, it's quite compressed into here. It comes with these 2 fans right up at the back, and that's very good just for the exhaust out the back. There's an empty port right over here for a fan that you could use it as another exhaust point. I haven't put anything there yet, partially because I don't know what would actually fit there in this little space. But just to go through some of the components, 2 terabyte Seagate hard drive, the Corsair TX650M for the power supply. I probably could have gotten away with well, probably less than 650 watt power supply, but just to make sure that I had enough for everything that I wanted to put in here, including if I wanted to add to it later, I decided just to go with that one. Then the graphics card. It's based on the Nvidia 660. It's the Gigabyte model, which is actually the 2 gigabytes of video RAM, and it's an overclocked edition, which is a little bit nice to get a little bit more boost out of it. I'll move the camera around so you can see that side of it. So you can see, if you look right in there, it's actually got, oops, right there, it's got 2 different fans on the actual graphics card, so that you're able to see a lot more cooling out of this card. Right there, that one, that big honkin' fan that you see there, that's for the Noctua. Now this is the actual CPU cooler. Underneath it I've got the Intel Core i5. It's the 3570K, so it's the unlocked model, so that I've got it. Normally it's a 3.4 gigahertz, but I've actually overclocked it to 4.2 gigahertz. The Noctua, I designed the case primarily around fitting this one, just because there was a very good deal on it at the store that I bought all my components from. Since there was such a good deal on it, I wanted to make sure that I could fit this in here and it would give me sufficient room to overclock and keep the entire thing cool, given the constraints of a case of this size. So, although if you look at all of the specifications, it says that there would be about like a 5mm I guess room above the fan for the case. You can actually see that it does fit in here. The only thing that is a little bit tight is right between the fan, specifically the heat sinks for the cooler, as well as the graphics card. Right in there, I'll move it over here, you can see that it's actually quite close in there. So what I ended up doing for that little section in there is I decided to use some black electrical tape, and that's what you see right there, because the fan itself has these little metal clips on it. You can sort of see the edge of one right there, and so I didn't want those metal clips to actually come into contact with the graphics card over here, the back contacts on there. So I used black electrical tape to go around the metal clip so that it would fit in there and it would not cause any disruption. So as I was saying before, height here, there is just enough clearance that it does fit. I have the crossbar in here as well, just to make sure that it's stable if I wanted to put something on top of here. And what I've found is that it does a fantastic job of cooling it. Obviously not as efficient in terms of space usage as, say, like a water cooler, but overall it does the job incredibly well, and it's able to maintain temperatures generally in the area of about 34, 35 degrees on regular usage. But if I start doing something like Dolphin emulation, so emulating the GameCube or the Wii, then it starts to go up to about 60 degrees Celsius, maybe 65, 70, depending on what the temperature is in the room here. Underneath all of this, I've got the Asus motherboard, and now this one it's the PZ877M. I didn't get the Pro version. I didn't think that for my needs it was really necessary. And then inside here I've got another Asus BluRay drive, just so that I can play Blu-rays on this entire device. One of the nice things about the case is that it does have plenty of room for for fans. Like I said, there's one available over here. You could upgrade these two back here. I should probably zoom that out. So Asus in here for the Blu-ray drive. Those two fans could actually be replaced with higher volume fans. You can add one into this little slot down here. Again, it's another exhaust one that could be used. I don't know if I'd have enough space, and right now I'm getting cooling that is sufficient for my needs. Right down in the bottom, or I guess in the front of the, right here, right in the front of the case, there's actually an air intake right underneath, and it's really nice because you can actually put a fan that's inside these two. Oh, I should also mention, normally you would have this hard drive tray as well as another hard drive tray, so it actually comes with both of them. However, in the interest of getting that graphics card, which is right up there, in order to get that much longer graphics card to fit, you can just remove this module, so that it also makes it a little bit easier for cable management. And in here I've got another fan that's for the front end, so it takes air in at the bottom and then blows it into this entire part of the enclosure. Now, obviously, airflow is probably the biggest concern in the case of this size, but overall I believe that it is getting quite decent airflow, not the best, obviously due to the size limitations and the modularization of the case, simply by putting that graphics card right down the center. It almost divides the case into two sections here, but having air intake over here, having the air intake for the PSU over here, generally the airflow is coming in through this section, and then it sort of takes all the heat, pushes all the cooler air. Move this up here. So yeah, generally what happens is the air will come in this section, get blown through this area, cool down the processor, graphics card, all of that. Like I said, the two fans over there will actually blow air up and over, and then it get exhausted out of that side there. I'm finding that it is sufficient cooling, and it seems to work quite well overall. So that's basically the outside of the case. Or the actual hardware components. I do like the motherboard specifically because it does support USB 3.0, which is really nice. And overall, this is designed to be a home theater PC again, so it's going to be running pretty much all the time, just sitting in the component stand. And one of the key things was, of course, noise. I don't want the fans to be too noisy, and I haven't had any problem with it myself. I'm generally watching the TV, movies and such at a volume that you wouldn't hear the fans anyway, so it's not too much of a concern for me. But if I really wanted to, I could, to make it a little bit quieter, you can use the low power version cable that basically it's just a resistor that reduces the fan speed on the Noctua. And I could also take out those two fans at the back and put in silent versions of those two just to reduce the volume decibel rating even more. And overall, I am pleased with its performance, and in another video I'll be able to show you a little bit more about what the actual box is now capable of once it's hooked up to everything. So I hope you enjoy the video. All of the components I have listed in the description, but I also encourage you to check out this other site that's also in the description, where I basically used their experience and their I guess component suggestions in building this PC. But one of the things I do like to mention that the LC17 Silverstone case is in fact a very good one overall that I think has a lot of potential. So thank you again for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this video.